how would you like to make your first million? And today we have Jaclyn Strominger with us, and she's an unstoppable success strategist, leadership advisor, and co-founder of the Missing Link network. She helps CEO, entrepreneurs, and high-performing professionals turn relationship capital into measurable business growth through her frameworks. Two steps to yes and authentic leadership. Jacelyn equips leaders to gain clarity, accelerate momentum, and scale with purpose. She's also the host of the Unstoppable Success podcast. Wow. This podcast is unstoppable. Yours is Unstoppable Success. We are the unstoppable people.
We are so
And
unstoppable.
the author of Charting the True North. Okay. So, Jacelyn, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Step number 1, you have to know your vision. You have to create and write out your vision. And when you write out your vision, like there's a 1A to that. That's your values. You also have to know your values. Your values are so important. What do you stand for? So that's step number 1. And the reason why step number 1 is so important, because it's going to take you into everything else. It's going to help you get out of those times when you're stuck. So you know your vision, 1A, values. And then once you know that your vision, you have to write out your mission. And there are 2 different things, because your vision is where you want to be going. Your mission is what are the things that you need to do that encompass your values and your vision to keep leading you forward. So write out your mission statement. That's step 2. And your step 2, when that mission statement, I always tell people, read it every day. Put it on your computer screen. Put it on your phone as a screensaver. I don't know if you can see mine. I have part of mine on here. It says, impact creates income and income creates freedom. What is something that you have that you can put on your phone that is going to excite you every single day? Now, once you have your vision and your mission, you have to really think about your energy, the energy that you're putting forth. So what are you doing to maintain that energy? And the reason why I say this for step 3 is because you can put all the things in place. But if you're tired, if you can't get your head off the pillow, if you're sick, you are not going to be making any money. So how is your energy? What are those things that you're doing to keep yourself grounded and moving forward? Then number 4, your plan. What are the action steps that you are going to take that align with your mission? So if your mission is to be a speaker and to share your message to the world, think of all of the actions that you need to take every single day to move the needle. Who are you going to be connecting with? Who are you speaking to? What are the words you're using? How are you getting out there? What are the relationships that you need to make? And then 5 is performance. You've got your action steps. How are you performing? What are you doing to look at your results? If you're doing and reaching out to people every single day and you're not moving the needle, then we need to measure, monitor, and adjust. We need to adjust the messaging. So performance is really important. And I love to say in that performance and in your actions, start testing, do an A/B test. What works better? But you have to measure, monitor, and adjust. Michael Phelps didn't become the swimmer that he is by just swimming every day. He had to look at his results. He had to measure, he had to monitor, and then he had to adjust. So if you want to make millions, measure, monitor, and adjust your performance so you can keep going forward. Those are my 5 steps.
Jocelyn, well done. And then tell us about the story. Why you decided to become an entrepreneur in the first place?
So, Harry, here's the thing. Okay, so I think we all have that feeling. Part of being an entrepreneur is I am so sick and tired of somebody telling me what to do. And this is also where the leadership came in. I was so tired of lousy leaders. My personal vision is a little bit kind of crazy, but it's like this beautiful world where everybody walks out of their building from a long day of work with smiles on their face, a little bit like the Legoland. Everything is awesome. You don't want me to sing, but we want to create leaders that are making the world awesome for everybody. And so for me, I wanted to become an entrepreneur because I was tired of having lousy leaders. I was tired of people not having direction in their direction, right? So I think about my first quote unquote career position, magazine publishing. I get to the office, my very first day, and the leader who I thought I was going to be working with changed. If I had known that, I would have said, thank you very much for the opportunity, but I would like to go with somebody else. I would like to work at a different company. You are not who I want to work with. And it really matters that the people that we have that are leading us, at whether it's our first job washing dishes, so to speak, in a restaurant to the first career position that we have, leadership matters. And so for me, entrepreneurship was me putting my foot down saying, I know I can make something better.
So, and tell us about the podcast, right? Really, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be unstoppable. So that's why we saw that this was a great name. So
Right.
why you decided to have this? What's the story behind the name of the podcast, of your podcast?
So Unstoppable Success, it actually started out as being Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight.
Oh, wow,
And
that's too long.
right, exactly.
Sounds amazing. Sounds
And that
amazing,
was,
but
yeah, too many words. So that's why it shortened down to Unstoppable Success, because Unstoppable Success is all about bringing people on who are great leaders, who have shown what it is to be a great leader. It's not just about their success, because success is different for everybody, but it was about having a great leader who helped other people have success, because that's what leadership is. When I think back to
100%.
those first years working, right? You were looking for a great leadership. You wanted to be under somebody who was a great leader so that you could be a better person. So that's where the name came from. And I just love hearing from people and getting their little tips and their insights that move the needle.
And yes, the name of our organization is Speakers and Leaders. We believe that all the problems that we have, not only in the entrepreneurship career, but also in the world, is for lack of leadership. When you have, today we were broadcasting before, and it was a successful corporate woman that attended the broadcast, and she was sharing with us that even in corporate, even if you perform, even if you have the highest standard, if you are no leader and you don't have leadership skills within your team, this corporate ladder structure, you will reach a point that they're not promoting you anymore, and you don't know. You wonder, you say, why? I'm performing better than anybody. My numbers are better than anybody, and the thing is that to keep growing and to go to these C-level boardrooms where the more higher you go, the less you have to talk. Yeah, you have to be very precise because everybody's times you have to be on point. Then this is something that leadership brings along. So when do you realize yourself, okay, in the business, that this is no a business, you need to learn how to be a leader? I'll tell you my story because I remember when I started my business, well, I tell you 18 years ago, I used to have even hair back then. We managed to save 5 million in our first business, in the property business. And I remember that at the beginning, I made the company, everything's about me. I'm a big boss, I'm a big deal here. And I was exhausted. I was so tired. Yeah, I have money in the bank account, but I can know I'm tired. I'm sleeping very little hours. I'm hungry. Um, and of course, this toxic environment it gets reflected in the culture of the company. Whether then you reach to a point that out of survival, because I'm thinking we have 177 tenants, a lot of tenants. We have the team, and everybody had to run to me. And I'm thinking now, if all the tenants want to speak with me, and all the team need to run everything with me, I'm thinking when I'm gonna sleep these people are gonna kill me. I'm thinking I've got so it's too much now. I cannot handle like this. When I gonna sleep then? So out of survival, I say, okay, you know what? And on top of that, they go going out for a drink without me, and I hate it. So it was my biggest nightmare. So I'm thinking, okay, there is something here that so I by accident I went to the team and said, look, from now on, every time you have a problem, you propose the solution. Pick your favorite. We try if it works. If it doesn't, I'm thinking, well, like this, I can sleep at least. Or and then I told Eva, when my manager, I said, Eva, I'm from now on, you are Harry. She's like, what? Yes, you are Harry. So what that means? What that means that whoever wants to speak with me will speak with you, and wherever you decide is fine. Don't even tell me. I don't. I don't know. You are Harry, and that's it. You decide what you want to do. You need to decide. I don't want to know that. That's it. You deal with it. And she was my general manager. So bottom line, long story short, they started to invite me to not even to go for drinks with them. I remember that I told the guests, my manager, the conversation was, Harry, can we go to bailar, to dance salsa? Because, you know, I dance salsa and the guests love that thing. And they were telling me, when you going to take us all to dance salsa? And I said, okay, this is how we're going to do, okay? If you guys rent all the rooms and all the job is done, I'll Friday I go to dance salsa, I take everybody and I'll pay for everything. That was the conversation that we used, that how the dynamic changed. Well, I'm not taking Harry to a drink, so okay, now let's go together. And one day I arrived to the office, they sent me home. They told me, Harry, go home. We don't need you anymore. We can grow the company without you. And Eva told me I will go once a month for half an hour, 1 hour to tell you what are we doing with the company, how we're growing, to give you a report. You don't need to come here. You actually come here to talk a lot, and we're trying to do some job here. And clearly you are nothing to do, so better stay at home. And I'm like, what? So I got so obsolete. I remember that I told her, yes, and who's gonna buy the paper in the photocopy? Huh? Who's gonna do that? And she was telling me, we can get our own paper in the photocopy. Don't worry about it. And that's it. Until the point 2 years ago, I'm tired, angry, with no sleeping, and I'm this type of entrepreneur. Okay, this is my product. I need to make money. I need to make profit. But once I turn out into a leader and I allow them to be leaders, they send me home.
Right.
They become obsolete in my own thing, and it was beautiful. I was crazy. I was telling everybody I didn't understand what happened. The first day I was thinking, how I pulled this off? And then I'm thinking, I didn't even pull this off. They did it. So what happened? I didn't understand. It took me a lot of years to actually understand what happened into that process, but the whole thing changed. Amazing. So that's how I became a leader by accident. So out of survival. So can you tell us a little bit more about when do you realize that, hold on a minute, this is, because at the beginning I'm thinking, I didn't sign up for this leadership thing. I signed out to sell something, make money, make profit and make money. And that's what I signed up. And now the more you grow, especially after the first million, now you have to be a leader. You have to develop leadership in the organization. And if you don't make this work, you're not going to grow. And this is what it's going to take. And even I end up calling my organization speakers and leaders, because it's all about leadership. So when do you realize that, oh my God, this is a leadership component here in my life that I didn't sign up for, but I had to work with this, that, and lead by example, otherwise I won't be able to grow.
So a couple of different things. So I was a really, pardon language, leader when I was in the magazine, when I was in my first career in magazine publishing.
At least you were crappy. I was no leader at all.
I did not know how to let things go or let people do for themselves. It was like I wanted my hand in every single bucket, right? And I realized I'm never going to grow. I'm not going to have anybody. I wasn't doing what I teach now, which is teach to take my. You want to teach people to take your place, right? You want people to be able to do that and help people level up. And so I wasn't doing that. Even though that's what I wanted to be led so that I could take my boss's place, but I wasn't doing it myself. And so
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was a one of my team members left, and I was so upset because out of all my team members, he was the one that I loved him. He got along great. And it was that moment I was like, I had to make a change. And that's when I started, I actually started taking other courses. I took a Dale Carnegie course. I took some other classes, whatever. And then that turned around that business that I was, where I was involved in. But what it also did is it made me realize how horrible my actual leader was in that company. And then when I fast forward, when I went into a different role as an entrepreneur and I was building a team, I had to take a step back and say, okay, if I'm going to build a team and I need everybody else to be doing and building teams, I need to lead by example. And leading by example was to give everybody else empowerment. To how do I help? I still have to do what I need to do to sell for me, but I still need to give everybody else the feeling of empowering them. And they need to watch me so that they can build teams and that their teams become successful. And it was this like big aha moment when I realized, okay, number one, I am a leader. Number two is I'm being asked by my company to teach what I'm doing because my team was successful. And then it was also the people that I was leading saying to me, oh my God, Jaclyn, I couldn't do this without you. You are a great leader. I became a person who didn't tell people what to do, but I pulled out of them what they could do. And I helped them see their potential. And I believed in people. People would say to me, Jaclyn, you are the first person that has believed in me, or at least believed in me and told me and showed it. So the defining moment for me was when I really, again, it was like, I need to make a shift when my team members, when anybody left my team, I always would do the MMA, measure, monitor, and adjust. What could I do? People leave for a reason, and most of the time people leave is because of leadership. So what could I do to become a better leader?
So I remember always in the network marketing company, they always asking me, I want to train them, and they tell me, Harry, we need more leads in our organization. I want to attract leaders. What can I do to attract leaders? And I always telling them, look, in order to attract leaders to your organization, you have to become a leader yourself. There is no the way around. They don't have a magic one. This is how it works. If you know leaders attract leaders, so if you not become a leader yourself, how are you expecting to attract leaders to your organization and to develop leadership in your organization? So the leadership is, in our experience, we have reached over 1 million people worldwide online and thousands of people in stages all over the world. So in our experience, leadership is skill. Basically, the
It's
more you practice, the better you become. It's like driving a car or swimming, right? If I give you a book to drive a car without practicing, it's work. It's skill based. Basically, the more you practice, the better you become. And then you
yes,
see all these leaders are not like history, like Martin Luther King, and everybody show up to his speech. I have a dream in Washington. And how you explain that? It was no internet, it was no thing. So how everybody show up in the same place at the same time? It's because great leadership skills, right? So what do you what do you think about this statement? You agree or disagree? So leaders, I get that ask this a lot. Every time that I go down on the stage, if there is someone from the press, on the media, TV, this is the first question everybody asks me all the time. So I'm gonna to you. So are leaders born or they are
Leadership is something that is made. It's a skill you can learn and you have to keep on learning. The one thing that I will also say about leadership, and I talk a lot and I teach this, and this is relationship capital. You, as a leader, you also have to think about the relationships that you are creating. Think about the people that are working with you, the people that you're partnering with, the people that you have as your board of advisors, or your trusted people that are around you. Leadership is something, again, it's a skill that needs to be fostered and learned and keep learning. And to do that, in that relationship capital, you need to have that board of advisors that's going to say to you, hey, Harry, you know what? That wasn't really good what you did just now. That wasn't great leadership. Or, Harry, that was amazing leadership. Like, who are those people that you can trust that are going to tell you the truth? You need that group. You need to build that sphere of people around you so that if you want to be a better leader, who are you? Who do you want to lead like? And who are the people that are influencing you? What books are you reading? How are you practicing it? It's a skill. Again, not everybody is a great driver. And though they could practice it, you still have to hone it. You still have to have somebody, and you have to be open to hearing people tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. If I tell you that you're a lousy driver and I say to you, you really need to do a better job, I'm seeing that you're not using your turn signals and that's causing problems with the rest of the cars behind you. Being a better driver, if you want to be a better one, start using your turn signals. Okay, so now you might start using your turn signals. Same thing in leadership. Harry, that conversation that you had with somebody was more dictatorship. Maybe you might want to use your words a little bit different. It takes skill, but it also takes being open to hearing and taking in the constructive good, bad, and ugly.
yeah, and then now let's talk about the transition between corporate and entrepreneurship, right? Because a lot of people are listening to this podcast and they say, wow, you see, Jacelyn, I wish that I was so brave that now she the corporate work and she's running her own business, right? She can fill her calendar. So some people might think though they love the life of the entrepreneur, right? So you can even do your own calendar. You don't have to work because you want to, because you have to. If you're a leader and you develop leadership organization, if you want that also that can happen to you because it did happen to me that you can be at home and the leadership team can grow your company on your behalf and actually can do it better than you. So uh the question is, Jacelyn, because when you are in corporate, you have your job, you have the freedom to somebody say, hey, Jacelyn, you have to do that. You say, hey, hold on a minute, this is not my job. But when you are an entrepreneur, everything is your job. So tell us about the good, the bad, and the ugly of corporate transition to entrepreneurs. So for people that they are on the edge, yeah, a lot of corporate people on the edge listening this podcast, and we want to get your go for it.
So, all right, two things I want to talk about corporate. Okay, depending upon the corporation, you can be, you could be a intrapreneur, intra. So what's an intrapreneur? Intrapreneur is an entrepreneur basically within a company where you can actually build something out yourself with power of a company behind you, right?
With your team, with everything, and be a leadership, yeah, and be a leader, yeah.
Right. So you could do that. So the question is, if you're really unhappy in the corporate world, you need to take a few things and think about why you're unhappy. Is it because you don't have ownership of your own calendar, or because, in order for you to go to the doctor appointment with your kid or to the basketball or whatever it is, you have to ask permission? Then I would say to you is think about the company you're at first and seeing if it's the right fit. Does it align with your values? You might just need a switch of company, right? Entrepreneurship, you need to be able to say to yourself, I believe this is my thing, to go from corporate, which is where you do get a monthly, bi-weekly check. You know that it's coming, there's a little bit of safety in that and security in that. The question I'm going to have for you is when you step out and you go into entrepreneurship, are you ready for a big roller coaster? It's a ride. It's scary. I mean, don't get me
I love
wrong.
it. I love it, by the way. Yeah.
Right? You know, my
Has
daughter's
some
at Disneyland.
disasters, a lot of disaster on the way though, but it's what
Right,
it is.
right. There's highs and lows, right? You know, you remember the one thing is that before you see success, there's all this back stuff and all this work happening that you don't see. I could tell you, think about, when you're talking about Jeff Bezos, he worked in his garage. You don't necessarily always hear the number of years he worked in his garage, the height, all the starts and the stops. There will be starts and
Oh, of
stops.
course,
There's,
yeah.
and sometimes that roller coaster is not going to go up and down. It's going to bring you around. It's going to flip you upside down. You have to be
Tell
ready
me about
for
it.
it, right? Right? You have to be ready for it. That being said, it's incredibly rewarding, but both can be incredibly rewarding. You just have to know if you're going to step out into entrepreneurship, go with your values, know your mission, know your vision. And you have to keep those front and center because when the roller coaster is whipping you around and you're going around and around, or you're up and down, or you're flipped backside, you have to look at that vision and mission to get you to feel focused and purposeful. It's going to keep you grounded.
Gradually, right? And do it
Right,
gradually. I
right.
remember, like, the only corporate job that I have, I think that I have two, but my last corporate job was in room service in the Hilton in Canary Wharf in London 18 years ago. And this is the last time that I work in a corporate. And but I remember that I was working there and on the weekends and in the lift. I remember that there is a lift. It's the only place in the hotel that there is no managers looking at you. So every time that I have room service order, I'm thinking, oh, maybe oh, hopefully it's the floor 25, 30, because if I have long journey, I can make a lot of phone calls. So I literally build the property business in the lift of the Hilton and on the weekends. But but in the process, I was balancing out both things, okay? My job versus the company that I was building. So gradually, I knew what I was getting into, okay? And in fact, I remember that I was for like 6 months working, and I have to room safety. It's like 1,000, 1,200 pounds. That was exactly how much they were paying me in the heater for the whole month. Yet I was waiting 6 months without realize that, oh, hold on a minute. If I actually leave this job, I can rent these two rooms in one day, and in one day I can make the same money that I can make it in a month. I
Right.
was so proud wearing all the hats and inside the business and my job, because I remember that so many times I got my salary in the Hilton on the first, and on the second, nothing is left. I had to put
Right.
everything in the business. I make a mistake, I pay somebody wrong. Who knows what I did, but I remember, oh my God, my whole salary was gone in day two because I make a mistake in the business. And so that job also gave me some funding for all the
Right.
initial mistakes, because I still make mistakes. The initial mistakes that
Yeah.
running the
But
business
we
until I get ready to that transition. So this is what, especially women, right? We have, this conversation. People come to a podcast. People come here to this podcast and say, Harry, you know what? I was unhappy in corporate. I've been in corporate for 20 years. I was unhappy. And then COVID came. They fired me. And I'm starting my business now. And I'm doing amazing. And I'm like, wow. you had to wait 20 years and to get fired in order to go for it. But go tell us, Jacelyn, your view on
But
this.
see, this is the biggest, I think this is one of the biggest things that we have to understand. Each and every one of us has to be the CEO of ourselves first and foremost. And I talk about that. You know, I want to help everybody be the CEO of themselves first. So if you're in a corporate job and you don't like it, geez Louise, get out. Like, don't wait. What? Life is too short to be unhappy. So if it's with
The
somebody,
safety, you have the mortgage, then you buy the nice car, then
right.
you have a nice job. What you gonna tell your
But
friends?
here's the thing. There's a lot of companies out there. So if you want that security and you want the paycheck, go to a different company. Find a company that is aligned with your values and who you are. If that company is not treating you right, walk away because you're helping fuel that company to be filled with bad leaders. You'd rather, and if you need help moving to another company, call me. I will help you find the right
Absolutely.
company,
This
right?
I know.
Right? But
This I
here's the
know.
thing, you know, and why are you waiting? Why, that that poor person who's waited 20 years to be happy, that's not right. And so this is why I do what I do. I don't ever want to hear that. I want to make it so that everybody is in a company, in the right company, working with the right people. And if you're not, let's help you find your thing to help other people. Maybe you want to start a franchise. Maybe you absolutely, like, what they say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? And some people say, well, how can I do that if I'm an artist? Well, let me give you a whole bunch of different ways. You could teach art, you could teach classes. You could actually do design work for big buildings. You could be painting murals. There is a way to make money. Everybody needs to need your service. You just have to find the right people. So the question is, what do you love to do? If you are in something that you are doing that you don't love, do me a favor, pick up the phone and call me. I want to help you do what you love.
Okay, let's talk about this. If somebody's in love out of this conversation, how people can find you, how this process work, how can they listen to your podcast? Can you tell us all this?
Yep. So if you want to connect with me, and I hope you do me a favor. You can find me on LinkedIn. I am Jaclyn Strominger, and I will spell my name. It's Jaclyn. And then my last name is Strominger, Strominger. You could also go to jaclynstrominger.com and book a call. You could also find me on School. I have a great community there it's called Unstoppable Success. It's just starting. So be one of the first 100 people and you'll get in for free. But here's the other thing I really, really would love for you to do. Go to my podcast and you can go listen to Unstoppable Success. It is on all the channels. So
But clearly,
Spotify.
clearly, then Unstoppable, they will love to listen on Unstoppable Success, right?
Right. Right. If you want to be unstoppable, make sure you got Harry's podcast subscribed and then go and subscribe to mine, Unstoppable Success. Making sure, and it's on Apple Podcasts. You can also you can search me up on YouTube as well. That's actually at my other company, Leap to Your Success. But you can just put in Jaclyn Strominger, and I would bet all of those things would come up. You could do a chat search or a Google search or a Claude search, whatever you're using to search these days, right?
So thank
And
you
find
so
me.
much.
Find me.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes. I think that you're great. You're great. Thank you so much for being in the broadcast. I really appreciate it. Fellow podcaster, yeah. We don't
Yay.
see fellow podcaster around this podcast a lot. Yeah, so we need more fellow podcasters around. Okay. It's a lot of fun, right? And you meet amazing
Yeah.
people like Jacelyn. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is amazing. I wish you well. Keep doing the podcast. Yeah, it's a fun. And when you get to 500 episodes like we have, this is you will be looking forward to it. Yeah,
I
because you meet
love doing my podcast.
some that they at the beginning was resisted to it, to be honest with you. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this podcast thing. And then I started to do it, and then the team, and then process all this, and it's getting more work and more work. And we were like, oh my God, what I get into. But after a while, I started to warm up to the thing. And I think the guest has warmed up also as well, right? So more and more people are the podcast is something amazing, and we're very happy, and we do it the best we can to deliver much value as possible. So thank you so much. And for all of you following the broadcast, see you in our next episode. How brave entrepreneurs like Jaclyn break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.